What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Ulysses, his opponent today, in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is the Rapl. I legitimately almost said playing as Rapl, he is Odin. But maybe that's how it is now. Maybe Rapl is the new Odin expert to be looking out for. We'll see how things go. But we've seen this matchup quite a bit in this tournament. However, I think it is universally agreed right about now that Ulysses is the best Oranos player currently playing the game. And Rapl, arguably right now, if not the best Odin player in the top 3 Odin players currently playing the game. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got to prove himself. He's got to win a tournament here. He's got his chance in this Champions League. The winner of this literal game here will become the 2nd place in the group. The loser will be in the 3rd place in their group. I believe that's how it will work. So while this game doesn't have a crazy amount of weight to it, I think it's going to be, both players are going to be wanting that position in the playoffs to just get that easier route to the finals. So we'll see how it's going to go. I am sort of surprised to not see Ulysses picking Zeus here, because Ulysses is Zeus, obviously, another option in his arsenal that he has that's really, really strong against the Odin. But obviously here Ulysses is feeling that Zeus against a top Odin player, it's just not that consistent. Whether or not Oranos is consistent or not, we'll have to wait and see, because this matchup is difficult from both sides. There's a lot of intricate defensive details you've really got to pay attention to from both sides of this matchup, and a lot of cheekiness that can be done by both sides to force you in to those bad decisions, bad engagements, bad fights. All these things are what you have to avoid to find a win. Forcing good fights is also a very vital part, which maybe, just maybe, Rapl is going to be able to play around here. And we'll see how things are going to go after all is said and done. We do have Ulysses already over onto this 2nd hunt here. Rapl at this point, nice share of the snowy pine here on this position. I love seeing that every single time you have an opportunity to share an ox cart as a Norse. You definitely should. The amount of resources you gain from that are always very, very important and big and good and wonderful. As we see, Rapl here has got 6 villagers currently on the hunt over here, moving his villagers over onto the wood. And we'll see what sort of a strategy he's going to go for. So we have seen several different variants through this tournament of the Odin opener. And by several, I mean 2. Maybe 3. So the first variant is the standard, the Mr. Odin, which is 2 longhouses, spam Ulsark, get yourself Lone Wanderer, cause chaos everywhere. Have a lot of fun with your speedy Ulsark. Destroy your opponent's terminal. Now, the second option here was caused by Oranos players opening double military academy. And what the answer to that, and I believe Shelty was the first one to kind of do this in this tournament, was to simply go 3 longhouses. Instead of rushing Lone Wanderer, he would get himself the 3rd longhouse and he would make himself Throwing Axeman. And Ulfsark Throwing Axeman, get himself a delayed Lone Wanderer, all that good stuff. And he was able to absolutely demolish that strategy. So we'll see what the plans are going to be here for these plays. There's also actually a 3rd strategy, which I think we did see. I want to say Rapl, but maybe it was Yoshi, maybe it was Soup. I'm not exactly sure. But maybe it was even Shadowfax. Went for raiding cavalry first, which apparently is another way to play this matchup. So lots of different options here, and they all kind of get dictated by what the Oranos does. And the beautiful thing about playing Odin is that you have map hacks. Bam, 1 map hack here. Bam, 2 map hack here. You're going to be able to see exactly what buildings your opponent throws down and how to deal with that. And we see a counter barracks and we see a military barracks. If we check out Rapl's position, he's searching around here, trying to figure out exactly what's happening to make some decisions here in the early game. He's already got that 309 wood, sees the villagers over here as well. Still hasn't found where those military buildings are. If we take a little look into the main base, he's dropped his 2 longhouses straight away. The question is whether he's going to go for the 3rd one or not. And obviously, seeing the counter barracks here, he does not need to go for a 3rd one, and he can just go for that stock standard Ulfsark spammage. And we'll see what Ulysses is going to be able to come up with, and if he's going to be able to defend here or not. As a pair of gold lions comes through, the Valor has been dropped down, and Ulysses using the Valor onto those Prometheans. I like it, but I'm not sure it's actually the best option here. Why? I think that the Oranos player should utilize the Valor onto 2 Murmillos and 1 Terma and manually heroize the Oracles. Look at the resources in the bank for Ulysses right now. You're always floating these resources when you go for this advanced time if you don't get yourself upgrades. And we do see pickaxe coming through, so that's going to be one of the reasons why Ulysses has grabbed himself the Valor on the Oracle, is just to make sure he doesn't lose and gets himself a little bit more gold income and all the good stuff that comes from that. But if you don't get those upgrades, you can get yourself the manually heroized Oracles. We see the units coming through here. Rapl going to say, get out of here straight away. Ulysses, he's trying to take the fight a little bit with the Terma as more Ulfsarks flowing in onto this position as the Promethean getting targeted down. The Terma getting chased down on the back here as well as he needs to pull back. One Ulfsark getting taken down as Rapl trying to keep those alive here, as the Valkyrie going to be moving back into this fight to try and keep himself alive, as the Prometheans do end up getting targeted down here as well, as Rapl decides to pull back his units as best as he possibly can. The Valkyrie turns around, takes down 1 Promethean, and then calmly and collectively retreats away here. No problems there. Nice play. The Ulfsark can start getting re-healed back up. Do we see Lone Wanderer in already? Yes, we do. And there's the Canopic Jar of Imseti, which is something we haven't talked about, but it does increase those Ulfsarks by about 1 second in terms of train time, or decrease that by 1 second in terms of train time. So that's a fantastic help here for Rapl in terms of his production after all is said and done, but it might change some of the macro that comes through, funnily enough, as well. So we'll see if he's going to be able to deal with that, as we do see yet again a strange forest fire coming through from Rapl. Not sure. This is the second time in this series he's made a bit of a strange forest fire, as a shockwave, an engagement shockwave coming through for Ulysses. Manages to take down 1 Ulfsark, potentially 2 Ulfsark going down here as well. No, the Ulfsark gets away. No problems there. 8 HP as he pulls back into his main base. Rapl at 61 pop. Ulysses at 75 pop, as Ulysses has managed to get through this early game really, really nicely. No pressure basically onto his army, as the Ulfsark coming through onto the back here. Into his economy, I should say, as the Ulfsark coming back here onto those Terma. The Terma retreating away. Nice play from Ulysses to try and keep those alive. But as those aren't fighting in this fight, the Ulfsark are going to be absolutely huge here, as that Gold Lion Relic going to be helping out a little bit for Ulysses to boot here, as the Ulfsark pulling back into the main base. Rapl at 56 population. Ulysses at 72 population. He does pull those units nice and close to the forest fire there. He gets a little bit of damage done as the villagers coming back in to start eating the goats in the main base here. How many goats does he have? He's got 13 remaining plus 2 there that he's been gathering. Meanwhile, over on this position, we've got 10-ish goats in the main base for Ulysses. So Rapl here is going to happily be able to gather all of those. He's got plenty of gold in the main base, and he's going to be able to start leaving his main base and start looking for some raids. But he hasn't defended his towers just yet. So Ulysses can definitely push in and cause some problems there. No longer building the Ulfsark here as well. Got to be careful. We've seen players like Mr. Boit going for sort of semi-fast heroic ages and getting heavily punished by the Atlantean of Moor earlier in this season of the Champions League tournament. So we'll see how things are going to go, as the wall's now coming up for Rapl. He's going to be making this nice and defensive. Houses also around the towers, making sure he can't get pushed in. A couple more Ulfsark are indeed coming out as well, as Rapl still searching around for some villagers to kill. There's plenty of gold left in the main base. One thing that I think that Atlantean players need to do, and especially on maps like Frozen Wastes, like Gold Rush, where the gold mines are really forward and you get 2 gold mines in your main base, is once you finish the food on this position, go on to this gold mine. Kvothe is an innovator of this, where he started saying, well, I'm just going to leave my home gold mine for later just in case. And on this sort of a map, it's really good, especially in this matchup, because you're going to have that gold to mine in your main base, which is going to be significantly easier to defend than those gold mines outside of your main base. As we do see a second town center coming through. The Ulfstark still moving around here, getting some good damage done as he does manage to turn around, catches Ulysses off guard here, as Ulysses' army doesn't quite chase as well as it should be. As Rapl pushes those back in. Units now still searching around. He can't push into the main base of Rapl. The walls are up. There's no armory up there is an armory up, excuse me, as the villagers finishing up on that hunt, or on the herdables there, as Skadi comes through. And we have seen Rapl here with this frost having a lot of success, giving himself an advantage in these sorts of positions here. Or even not in these positions. Normally, he's got full population when he goes through to the heroic age. We'll see if he's going to be able to get that economy going as he starts the Ulfsarks. Yet again, units searching around. The dwarves going to move over onto this gold mine. Hasn't protected this watchtower, but it's probably going to be fine for him. As a third town center coming up for Ulysses, this is a little bit different than we're normally used to seeing. Normally, the Oranos player wants to rush that heroic age to get Stymphalian birds or get the chaos to deal with the frost giants. They're going to be impending. You see 47 favor for the Norse. This is very, very standard to have this amount of favor at this point in the game. As the villagers here going to be getting targeted down as well. Rapl not paying attention here. He's only on 1 town, and he definitely don't want to be losing villagers at this point. Currently still focusing on his army over here as the damage comes through. The towers will get a little bit of damage done onto these units, but those gold lions, they don't cost anything. They're free for Ulysses to use as fodder here. As the units come through, you're going to start targeting down the villagers on this gold mine, or retreating back, as we're still seeing the units moving around on this position, looking for some sort of a frost here to utilize. As Rapl's army, there we see the frost. Handful of citizen getting frozen there as the town center gets spotted. Going to be putting a stop to that one as well. As the units going straight after those citizens, trying to take those down, trying to remove that town center. As I think Rapl wants to just target this army down and get as much damage as he possibly can. As the town center attempting to come up over here, a handful of Ulfsark should be able to deal with this army as best as it possibly can. And Ulysses recognizes that, retreats away. As in the main base here, do we see the frost giants coming through? Not just yet. As the frost is going to be finishing up in about 15 seconds. We'll see what Ulysses' reaction to this is going to be, as the citizen hero, the unit of choice here to go down by Rapl, definitely does end up falling here. This other citizen most likely will be able to jump into that manor. Generally speaking, you can kind of teleport the citizen a little bit. Never mind, it goes down, and the army going to have to retreat back for Rapl at this point. But Ulysses is saying, no, you have to stay and fight me here. You've done enough damage, and I'm going to shockwave and kill off a bunch of your units here. No problems. As the town center here still hasn't continued to go back up. As it looks like Rapl will be able to get his town center up here, which means access to those walruses. We'll see if Ulysses is going to be able to put a stop to that one. As the unit's still searching around, looking for little bits of damage. As we see now, Ulysses can move on to his second gold mine, or his exterior gold mine here on that position. And the question is going to be, will Rapl be able to get to the Mythic Age or not? As the unit's pushing through here, can he get the town center up? It's very, very close. 2,700, 2,800. It's about to go up, and it does just barely manage to finish there. Ulysses, if he was 1 second earlier, he could have stopped that town center potentially, but plenty of units coming in. Looks like it wouldn't have mattered that much. As the Ulfstark still getting chased around here by Ulysses, as Rapl is getting that distraction action really, really nice throughout this game. As the walrus here, I mean, unfortunately gets targeted down there, as some villagers can move up onto that if they so choose to get a little bit more food. But he's got plenty of herdables left in his main base. He will be able to head towards that Mythic Age very, very quickly here after all is said and done. I imagine Ulysses at this point can just take down the town center, though. He has a ton of turmoil, which is probably a little bit of an overkill if you ask me. As Rapl at this point, he's just about to click up to that Mythic Age, and Ulysses here, he's about to click up to the Heroic Age. And we'll see if that Ragnarok is going to be enough. 40 villagers here for Rapl, as he's going to be getting a ton more villagers out onto this position, making dwarves out of the town center, jump onto the wood line here, as the Balder now gets clicked up. And Balder against Norse, even a Balder against Atlantean, even a 3 town center Atlantean can be very tough to deal with. We do see the Axe of Muspel coming through as well for Rapl to help defend against any sort of Stymphalian birds, but there's no Stymphalian birds coming. Hyperion is on the way, as Ulysses says, well, Chaos is going to be my only hope here. Can't really rely on those Stymphalian birds when you know that Ragnarok is on the way, and that means fire giants are on the way. And Balder is on the way, as one dwarf looks like he gets taken down, as Rapl did react to that nice and fast, but the house here kind of screwed the retreat path of Rapl, as Rapl now jumps onto the goats here, trying to eat up as much of that food as he possibly can to get up to full population. As the Ulfsark still moving around. How much gold in the main base? 1,600 gold in the main base here, as the town center on this position for Ulysses will get up. He will be able to go up to 145 population. Heavy infantry coming through, however, for Rapl is going to be a big help as the unit's pushing forward here. Frost Giant didn't actually manage to get a special ability onto that point there as the Chaos gets dropped down, but I mean, Rapl probably should be fairly happy with that one, because that means he's going to be able to have a Fire Giant for quite some time, not getting Chaos. As, I mean, in this position here, if Rapl does decide to click Ragnarok, it's going to be as all in as it gets for a Ragnarok. You can see the resources are low. The population is low. The Ulfsark's still getting pumped out here. He's got 80 favor in the bank to make Fire Giants, but I imagine he's just going to be clicking the Ragnarok straight away here as the unit's moving into position and the gold is finished. The villagers coming up onto this gold mine potentially. It looks like Rapl is just taking his time trying to get to full population, and we do see the Ragnarok coming through right away. 217 population Ragnarok here for Rapl to 145 population Ulysses army. However, how many Terma do you want? 7 Terma here? Plus 11 Terma, 12 Terma, absolutely useless in these fights. Yeah, maybe they can pick off a throw-in axeman if they're lucky, but I don't know how you can manage everything here, as immediately Rapl sends the Heroes of Ragnarok onto the gold mines. Checking out every single gold mine across the map is very important to just send like even just one unit moving up from this location here to check to make sure that there's no gold getting grabbed. As you do also see a random longhouse getting thrown down on this position. The Ulfsark getting caught out by the Prometheans here. Nice play from Ulysses, getting some value out of that, as one town center going to get torn down here as the army in the center of the map getting cleaned up very fast. Copper Mail, Carpenters, fortified town centers coming through for Ulysses as well. He's still got himself 500 gold left in the main base. Imagine if he had 3,000 gold there, and this gold mine was all that he was grabbing, as the town center does manage to stay alive. The fortified town center is getting a little bit more damage done onto this position, as the citizen are going to start getting targeted down here as well. Rapl does have 300 food in the bank to produce some villagers after all is said and done, but obviously he's going to need to effectively kill off every single citizen to make some sort of an economic comeback after all is said and done. And that's a very big possibility here, as Ulysses at 112 population, units streaming into the main base. These citizens have managed to grab this gold mine, as Rapl did not check that one out here. The Ravens are going to be moving over there to find out what's happening, as the Ulfsark leave that position, moving up to the top corner of the map to see the gold mine. As he checks this gold mine out, the Raven comes in as well. Rapl at this point, he does know there's a gold mine there, but he hasn't checked it out. He's checked out everything else except for that one gold mine. After all is said and done, Arcus goes down. More units streaming through. The town center in the main base is going to be getting cleaned up here, as well as the citizen sneaking into this quarter here. I don't think that Rapl has spotted that, but he does see the 5,000 gold here. He knows that gold mine is being grabbed for a little bit here, as we do see that Rapl notices, or should notice, the citizen on that position, going straight after those citizen, checking out all the gold mines remaining there as the town center falls. These citizen making a break for it for the time being. Ulysses has got himself 400 food, 1,100 gold, so he can make out a huge army yet again of Murmillo at this point, which might be enough of a help here, but he doesn't have the production to really make it happen. as Ulysses manages to snipe a couple of units on this position, but more citizen falling. And what I was saying about Ulysses losing every single one of his, basically all of his economy, it's basically going to happen here. So even if Ulysses can manage to rebuild an army, which I don't think he's going to be able to, he's still going to be in a tough position, as the Ulfsark over here will be spotting those citizens moving forward here. This army can chase this one down, and it does look like Rapl has noticed that, sending the Ulfsark straight after those citizens there, as the army pushing through here to try and take out the town center on this position, as the units getting taken out all over the map here. Citizen here trying to chop down the wood line, but they're not going to be able to get all too much, as the Ulfsark coming through to clean up all of those ranged units very, very nicely here, as the citizen retreating back into the town center. Ulysses only got 10 citizens remaining, basically 6 citizens remaining, or 5 citizens remaining now, as those citizens are basically doomed here in this game as well. There's a random citizen over here that's going to go down as well, as it looks like Ulysses has got nothing remaining here in this game, as the fire giant comes back over onto this position. The units targeting down the town center. Is there enough here? With those 11 heroes of Ragnarok plus the fire giant, it should be enough. Rapl is now starting to get his own villagers back out. He can get onto the herdables here. He can eat the hunt in the main middle of the map. He's also got hunt over here with the polar bear remaining. Chaos does get dropped down though onto this position, and that's going to hurt quite a bit here to those human units, but it looks like the heroes of Ragnarok are simply the ones getting targeted down for the time being, as that ends up going down. The citizen almost managing to come back in to this town center here. Will it go down or not? 12 HP remaining, and it does manage to get into the town center, but all of these citizens go down. Ulysses has got 3 citizens remaining here in this game. Rapl's got 92 population. That's more than enough in this game, as the village is trying to repair this one back up, trying to get as much value out of this fortified town center as he possibly can. 3 town centers remain, 3 citizens remaining, and in the 19th minute of this game, Ulysses does decide to tap out, and Rapl claims the victory in a battle of ups and downs here. Rapl manages to survive after all is said and done, and Ulysses does not set up to defend against the Ragnarok here in this game. Congrats to Rapl, gets the win 2-1, claims the second place in the Osiris division, I believe. If I got that wrong, that's funny. And Ulysses on the other side of the coin, claiming the 3rd division. What a series here. What a tournament thus far. The group stage is concluded now, and we get to move on to the playoffs. We will be following both ends of the playoffs, both the Champions League and the Challengers League, to see some very, very exciting high-level games with stakes on the line. If you guys are enjoying it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're on the Twitch, hit the follow, and I'll see you guys in the next game.